Tension crackles in the air around Ibrox. There's an unease, a weight, as if the whole club is holding its breath. On the pitch, questions still hang in the mist about performances, ambition, direction. Off it, however, the real story is unfolding. Fast. What was once a slow rumble of speculation is now a roaring current of change. Rangers Football Club stands at the edge of something potentially seismic, a shift not just in leadership or squad, but in identity. The kind of transformation that doesn't just change a season, it changes everything. For fans, it's a strange mixture of excitement and apprehension after a campaign riddled with inconsistency and unmet expectations. Many were already bracing for change, but few anticipated just how big that change might be. And now looming large over the club's horizon is a name that has already shaken the foundations of sporting institutions across the Atlantic 49ers enterprises. This is not just another investor sniffing around a struggling club. This is a group with a track record of strategic control, calculated ambition, and serious financial muscle. They're not here to buy in quietly. They're here to take the reins. For months, whispers of boardroom takeovers and ownership shifts have swirled, but now the veil is starting to lift. The silence is broken, and what has emerged from the shadows is a revelation that could define the next decade of Rangers Football Club. At the heart of it all lies a vision, one that promises not just money but purpose, a bold blueprint to reshape the structure of the club from top to bottom. Reports suggest the deal is near completion. The 49ers, already major players at Leeds United, and of course owners of the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL, are said to be finalizing their grip on Ibrox. The implications, massive. We're talking about new standards, new resources, and possibly a whole new era of competitiveness. Not just domestically, but in Europe. This isn't just noise, according to various reliable sources close to the deal, including reports shared by trusted football outlets. Rangers are preparing to enter the upcoming transfer window with a significantly boosted budget, bigger than anything seen in recent seasons, and that alone speaks volumes. Because if the boardroom's being rebuilt, then the squad is next. The goal is clear: close the gap with Celtic and do it fast. No more slow rebuilds, no more half measures. The message from the 49ers camp appears to be simple. They're not coming to merely participate. They're coming to win. And make no mistake, fans have every reason to be hopeful. Despite the disappointment of the season just gone, a campaign that started with promise but quickly derailed, this feels different. The club lost ground early, failed to maintain consistency, and ultimately fell short in the title race once again. Performances dipped, pressure mounted, and Philippe Clement paid the ultimate price. His dismissal came as little surprise. The timing, perhaps, was the only real question. Rangers had reached another crossroads, and with change in the air, they acted swiftly. But while managerial turmoil is nothing new in football this time, the stakes feel higher, because now there's serious backing behind the scenes. Now there's a sense that a long-term project might actually have the resources it needs to succeed. And it starts with getting the right man in the dugout. Barry Ferguson stepped in as interim boss with courage and heart, holding things together, with professionalism and pride. But the club was never going to leave the keys with a caretaker. Enter David Ancelotti. The 35-year-old son of Carlo Ancelotti, one of football's most decorated coaches, is being strongly linked with the permanent role at Ibrox. And the hype isn't just because of his surname. By all accounts, David has earned his stripes. As assistant to his father at some of Europe's biggest clubs, Bayern Munich, Napoli, and most recently Real Madrid, he's developed a reputation of his own. Players and insiders alike speak highly of his tactical acumen, his communication, his presence in the dressing room. Dani Ceballos, the Spanish international, even went as far as calling him a phenomenon with a bright future ahead as a manager. Those aren't words tossed around lightly in the elite game. With Carlo Ancelotti heading off to lead the Brazilian national team, David is now free to write his own chapter. Could it be in Glasgow? The timing seems more than convenient. Rangers need vision. They need energy. They need someone who can command respect and implement a modern style. And maybe, just maybe, David Ancelotti is that man. Of course, there are other names in the mix too. One in particular is sure to divide opinion: Steven Gerrard, the man who delivered Rangers their historic 55th league title, ending a decade. of Celtic dominance, his name still carries weight in Ibrox. Memories of that title-winning season are still fresh. The discipline, the structure, the passion, it was everything Rangers had been missing. But times have changed. Gerrard's journey post-Rangers has been turbulent. His spell at Aston Villa started well but fizzled out. Is returning to Glasgow the right move, or is it a step backwards? That's the kind of question the board will have to answer, and fast. Because the longer the club stays in limbo, the harder it will be to prepare for next season. This summer is not just about transfers or managerial hires. It's about resetting the culture of the club. It's about turning potential into performance. The window is small, but the possibilities are vast, especially if the 49ers put their full weight behind the project, as sources suggest they intend to. But it's not just about big names or big budgets. The blueprint has to make sense. Throwing money at the problem won't work unless the foundation is solid. That means smarter recruitment, better infrastructure, and a coaching setup that can develop players, not just buy them. The days of short-termism need to end. And that's perhaps the biggest test of this new era. Can Rangers build sustainably while chasing silverware? One thing is certain, the fans deserve better. They've stuck by the club through highs and lows. They've celebrated historic wins and endured painful collapses. What they crave now is stability, clarity, and above all ambition. The kind of ambition that turns Ibrox into a fortress again. The kind that gives young players a chance while also bringing in proven talent that can make a difference on day one. And speaking of players, there's another subplot unfolding that can't be ignored. Ianis Hagi, the Romanian playmaker, has officially left the club after 4.5 years. His departure marks the end of an era in some ways. A player who, while not always consistent, delivered key goals in critical moments and showed flashes of brilliance. Injuries plagued his time in Glasgow, and while his final season brought no silverware, Hagi insists he leaves with his head held high. He's now evaluating offers from clubs across Europe, from Genoa to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and wants to take his time before committing to the next step in his career. For Rangers, letting him go might seem logical. A fresh start, a clearing of the decks. But it also highlights the delicate balance the club must strike in this rebuild. Talent alone isn't enough. Availability, attitude, and fit are equally crucial. And whoever steps in as a new manager will need to make some big calls quickly. So here we are. Rangers Football Club stands at a crossroads with history whispering in one ear and the future roaring in the other. The decisions made in the coming weeks, in the boardroom, in the manager's office, on the training ground, will shape what comes next. This is a club with the infrastructure, the fan base, and soon perhaps the financial firepower to rise again. But it will take bold choices, unity, and a shared sense of purpose. The 49ers are watching, the supporters are waiting, and the rest of Scottish football is bracing itself. Something big is coming to Ibrox, and it might just shake the entire league to its core. With the storm of change swirling around Ibrox, it's easy to get caught up in the headlines, the speculation, the whispers of boardroom power plays and multi-million-pound transfer budgets. But beneath all of that, football is still about people, about players, managers, fans, and the moments they create together. As the summer approaches, Rangers find themselves not only at a pivotal structural moment, but also at a deeply human one. The emotional weight of recent seasons, the heartbreak of falling short, and the longing for redemption are all bubbling just beneath the surface. The Europa League quarter-final run offered a brief respite, a flicker of belief that this squad still had fire in its belly. They fought, pushed, and bled for the shirt against Athletic Bilbao, and although they came up short, it reminded fans of the club's European pedigree. It also laid bare the squad's limitations. The legs tired too quickly. The creativity dried up when it mattered most. Injuries exposed a lack of depth. That run to the last 8 wasn't just a bright spot. It was a warning sign. Competing at that level requires more than spirit. It requires quality depth and a system that brings the best out of every player. The departure of Philippe Clement was the inevitable outcome of that reality. A manager brought in with expectations and promise, but who ultimately couldn't ignite the spark that was desperately needed. His vision never fully connected with the group. Performances grew stale, ideas seemed to run out, and even the most loyal supporters began to lose faith. In truth, the writing had been on the wall for weeks. There were games where Rangers looked like a side without identity, without belief. And at Ibrox, that simply doesn't last. What comes next will define everything. The identity of the new manager will be more than just a headline. It will be a statement. Is this going to be a forward-thinking, brave appointment that signals a new chapter, or a safe pair of hands meant to steady the ship and get results quickly? That is the tension the board must navigate. David Ancelotti offers freshness and pedigree. Steven Gerrard offers familiarity and proven success. There are pros and cons to both. But what matters most is that whoever steps in is aligned with the broader vision being crafted behind the scenes. And make no mistake, vision is what Rangers have been lacking. In recent years, the club has lurched between identities, philosophies, and approaches. Some seasons built on grit and defensive solidity, others flirting with expansive possession-based football. But without continuity, it all ends up as noise. The next manager, backed by a hopefully united board and invigorated ownership, must plant a flag and say, this is who we are, this is how we play. Meanwhile, the players themselves are entering a period of uncertainty. For some, the writing is already on the wall. Contracts expiring minutes, dwindling, new names being linked daily. But for others, this is a chance. A reset. A clean slate under a new regime. Youth players in particular will be watching closely. If the 49ers bring in a manager who values development and structure, the academy could finally become a pipeline. Again, not just a badge of pride. Supporters, as always, will be the heartbeat of this transition. Their expectations are high, and rightly so. Rangers is not a club that tolerates mediocrity. The memories of past glories, the title win under Gerrard, the European Knights under Van Bronckhorst, the legacy of legends who wore the shirt, they're not just nostalgia. They're a standard, a reminder of what this club is supposed to be. And while the road ahead is uncertain, there's a growing sense that something real, something lasting might finally be on the horizon. In this moment, Rangers don't just need to get it right. They need to believe again. From the director's box to the dressing room to the terraces of Ibrox, belief has to return. Not blind optimism, not wishful thinking, but a conviction that with the right people, the right support, and the right values, this club can rise again. Because this isn't just about one summer or one season. It's about building something that lasts. And if the signs coming out of Ibrox are to be believed, that building has already begun. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers are stirring around Ibrox as the Rangers might be on the verge of snapping up a Premier League defender to bolster their backline. The name on everyone's lips? Cameron Burgess, a solid centre-back who has been making waves in the English top flight. Though nothing has been officially confirmed just yet, sources close to the club suggest that the Light Blues are keen on securing Burgess' signature to shore up a defense that has seen its share of ups and downs this season. Burgess, who has plied his trade with various clubs in England, is said to be the type of player who brings both physicality and composure, a combination that could be just what Giovanni Van Bronckhorst needs as he looks to mount a serious challenge domestically. And in Europe, the 27-year-old's Premier League experience is a valuable asset in a league that is becoming increasingly competitive, and his potential arrival at Rangers would certainly send a strong message to their Scottish Premiership rivals. Insiders hint that the deal is progressing steadily, with the club reportedly prioritizing defensive reinforcements ahead of the transfer deadline. Rangers' defense has been tested in recent matches, and adding a player with Burgess' pedigree could be the missing piece in a backline that sometimes lacks that extra bit of grit. Fans at Ibrox are buzzing at the prospect of a new signing who can blend well with the existing squad and provide that vital defensive solidity. While the deal remains in the realm of speculation for now, the timing feels right. Rangers have been linked with several players this transfer window, but the buzz around Burgess is particularly loud. Given the competitive nature of the Scottish Premiership and Rangers' ambitions to reclaim full domestic dominance, it would make sense for the club to strengthen their defense with a player who knows the intensity of top-flight football in England. Should Burgess put pen to paper, it will undoubtedly raise expectations among supporters eager to see Rangers tighten up at the back and push on in all competitions. With the season well underway and every point crucial, The arrival of a Premier League defender like Cameron Burgess could be the catalyst that propels Rangers back to the summit of Scottish football. Only time will tell if this rumor materializes into a marquee signing, but for now, the chatter at Ibrox is all about the possibility of Burgess donning the famous blue jersey. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.